I'm Councillor Ian Edwards. I'm Leader of the Council and Chairman of Cabinet. Welcome to this evening's Cabinet meeting. Let me just do a quick ordinary health and safety. There are members of the public present. If an alarm sounds, we will be evacuating. The best way out is through the doors, the way you came in, but there are also fire exits behind us. Don't worry, we'll all be going together. We will make sure that you will not be left behind. Remind everybody, including Cabinet colleagues, to have their devices and phones turned to silent so that we aren't interrupted. And we will then get straight into the agenda. And agenda item 1, apologies for absence. Mark.
Thank you. We have apologies from Councillor Bianco and the Chief Executive.
Thank you very much, both noted. Item 2, additional declarations of interest in matters before this meeting. Colleagues, are there any additional matters? No, none recorded. Thank you. Item 4. This is to confirm that there are items of business in Part 1. Oh, sorry. You are absolutely right. Item 3. Thank you. To approve the minutes of the last meeting. This is on page 5, I think, of the pack. This is the meeting of the 23rd of December. Colleagues, are those meeting minutes accurate and agreed? Thank you. Right, now item 4, to confirm that items of business marked Part 1 will be considered in public and that items marked Part 2 are in private. There is a small public agenda this evening. A large number of the issues are contractual in nature and are restricted because of the business in confidence nature of it. We do provide a précis report at item 8 to give more information, and the decisions made for each item are published. We will, at the end of Part 1, break the link, the YouTube link, and will be asking members of the public to retire from the meeting room. We're now moving into the main agenda proper, and this is Part 1, Item 5, the Local Development Scheme, to recommend to Council. Councillor Tuckwell.
Thank you, Leader. Cabinet colleagues. This evening I am presenting this report to Cabinet to seek endorsement for a revised local development scheme which will be recommended to full council for adoption. The local development scheme is a statutory document and it sets out the timetable for preparing our local plan which will shape how Hillingdon develops over the next 15 years. It is essential that this plan is credible, up-to-date and capable of being sound. The current LDS was adopted in February 2025 with the aim of submitting the local plan under the existing framework before the end of 2026. Officers have progressed that work and assembled a strong evidence base. However, it has become clear that the existing timetable is no longer deliverable due to major external changes beyond the Council's control. There are 3 key reasons for this. The first being housing numbers. Hillingdon's housing target will change significantly from March 2026. Under the revised National Standard Method, our housing need more than doubles. A new London plan is expected to propose higher targets still. Publishing a draft local plan before this position is clear would risk producing a plan that is immediately out of date. Secondly, we have national planning reform. The Levelling Up and Regeneration Act introduces new plan-making system with new legal tests, gateways and national policies. A local plan submitted from January 27 must be prepared entirely under that new system with no transitional arrangements. There is no indication that the current deadlines will be extended. And thirdly, there's Heathrow Airport. The revised Airport National Policy Statement is expected later in 2026. The potential expansion of Heathrow would have a profound implications for Hillingdon, including the impact on homes, the green belt, infrastructure and the environment. It would be premature to lock in a long-term spatial strategy without clarity on these proposals. Taken together, these factors mean that continuing under the current LDS would expose the Council to a high risk of producing an unsound and vulnerable local plan. Officers have considered alternative options, including pressing ahead with a partial plan. That approach has been rejected as it would increase cost, require multiple rounds of consultation, and still fail to resolve the core strategic issues. The revised LDS provides a more realistic and responsible pathway. It aligns the local plan with the new national system, builds on extensive evidence already gathered, and allows us to properly address housing need, the Green Belt, Heathrow, in a single, robust plan. There are no direct financial implications on this decision, with costs covered through existing budgets and government funding. Before concluding, I would like to place on record my thanks to officers in the planning policy team for the significant work undertaken to date in what is a particularly complex and fast-moving policy environment. Colleagues, this approach avoids rushing a flawed plan and ensures that we produce a sound, defensible local plan that genuinely puts residents first. I commend the 3 recommendations set out on page 28 for Cabinet approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 6, which is the proposal to lower the... Item 6, the proposal to lower the age range of Whiteheath Infant and Nursery School, and I do draw your attention to the addendum that was being placed on your table. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. And referring to agenda item 6, the proposal to lower the age range of Whiteheath Infant and Nursery School, I just want to raise in the header as well as in the summary and recommendation 2, it states ages 3 to 11 years old. This school is actually an infant and nursery school, so the age range is actually ages 3 years old to 7 years old. And the intention is to reduce the age brackets to 2-year-olds to 7-year-olds. And as I said, because we are referring to an infant and nursery, not an all-through primary school. So this request and recommendation has come forward due to the growing demand for funded early years education and childcare places. Schools have started to offer this provision to enable further choice for parents as they look at childcare options for their 2-year-old children, and who can now receive up to 15 hours of funded childcare. So this is in addition to the other nurseries or other private arrangements that parents could be making. There is an addendum, as Councillor Edwards, the leader, has mentioned, and this was to include the Select Committee's comments of the 7th of January. Just for ease of reference, in case people haven't seen, I'll just quickly read out what the committee has said. So the Children and Families and Education Select Committee note that by proposing to lower its age range, Whiteheath Infant and Nursery School will be able to offer additional places for 2-year-olds, thus increasing childcare options for families in Ruislip and surrounding areas, as well as helping to address the current shortfall in provision. Though it is understandable that existing childcare settings would be concerned about additional competition, the school is offering a different model of childcare to most other group childcare settings. For example, it's only going to be open during time term only. The recommendations are on page 42 of the pack that we're reading from tonight, and I therefore move. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, the recommendation agreed. Appreciate it. Item 7. Temporary Accommodation Action Plan Monitoring. Councillor Sockwell.
Thank you, Leader. Back to me. Cabinet colleagues, this is the 3rd quarterly update on our temporary accommodation strategy and action plan that was first agreed by Cabinet back in February 2025. I am pleased to report continued progress across all key areas. We are increasing the supply of housing to prevent and resolve homelessness, including delivering new social rented homes and making acquisitions in line with our programme. Phase 1 of the price negotiations with temporary accommodation providers has been successfully completed, and Phase 2 is underway, aiming to deliver further reductions in nightly costs. However, despite these successes, pressures continue to remain. Despite demand from homeless households continues to be high, particularly given Hillingdon's role as a port authority for Heathrow Airport, and the challenges in securing suitable, affordable private rented accommodation. As a result, some families are staying in temporary accommodation longer, which is putting pressure on the homelessness budget. Officers are actively exploring innovative approaches to increase the supply of leased and private rented sector homes over the coming months. Our strategic aim remains clear in ensuring residents live in good quality, affordable homes, supporting safe and strong communities, and reducing the reliance on temporary accommodation. The update shows tangible progress, whilst recognising the ongoing challenges, particularly the financial pressures from high demand and the cost of temporary accommodation. I therefore move the recommendation as outlined on page 58 for the Cabinet to note the quarterly update report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tuckwell. It's important that we keep a close watch on temporary accommodation. We know the cost pressure associated with the housing shortage is impacting on all local authorities, and it's right that we keep bringing this monitoring plan to us. Is the recommendation agreed? Thank you. Agenda item 8 is the public preview report of the confidential items to be considered following this in part 2 of the meeting. There are 10 individual items within it. Each is described in slightly more detail than the headline, and as I said, that there will be the decision published in due course. So, having noted agenda item 8, we move to agenda item 9 in part 2, so we now move to part 2, close the links. Thank you.